Welcome to Investors Insights, where today we're talking about trade, oil, and patents. Guys, a lot going on as always. Yes. The Federal Reserve meeting is behind us, the jobs report's behind us, and really the bulk of earnings season is behind us. And so now the attention is going to be on trade. So we have trade going on with China, trade talks regarding NAFTA, those are going to be very important. But the problem is it's very hard to do any type of analysis because there's so many outcomes that could come of this. Right. And so, the Mexican election's coming up. We need to see what happens before that. That's going to be very important with NAFTA. But Trey, the consumer obviously has much more money in their pockets because of tax reform. Talk about that and what impact oil is having.
Yeah, so I think oil has kind of taken a back seat in that because oil production in the U.S. has gone up so much that when oil prices go up, our energy area has profits have gone up. So we've kind of ignored the fact that also drives gas prices higher. And it really, historically speaking, higher gas prices has hurt the consumer. Well, so far this year, a year-over-year gas price on average has gone from $2.35 to $2.81. That doesn't sound like much. When you multiply it across U.S. consumers, that's about $60 billion a year. Now, that's a huge number that normally would impact consumer spending. The tax bill is projected to provide $120 billion worth of benefit. So some of the tax bill, that's why the consumers are still able to spend the higher gas prices because they're getting a relief in the taxes, but the tax bill is not going to have as much of an impact because half of it is being eaten up by higher gas prices. And so we're not at a tipping point yet, but that's something we're going to have to watch closely because the oil companies are making more money, that's good, but at what point does that start to hurt the consumer more than cutting taxes help the consumer? So it's an interesting thing for us to watch closely, and it's not really being covered because it's not having that big of an impact yet. And so we're kind of trying to get ahead of that.
And particularly when you come up with vacation months where you got a lot more people going, and that's going to be people a lot more sensitive to that coming out in the next 3 months.
Oh yeah, that's a really good point, especially we're hitting $70 a barrel of oil. First time we've done that since 2014. Perfect timing for that, right in time for summer driving season.
Yeah, highest gas prices in 4 summers, so that's a good point. And Ashley, you brought up something very, very, very interesting here, patents.
Yes.
What impact are patents having on the economy?
Well, it's very interesting. What we always try to do is we try to bring you something on the vlog that is of major economic impact to markets that maybe you don't hear everywhere else. And the one for you today is on patents or intellectual property. And to give you a summary of that, 900 billion with a B of economic impact in the United States, or 5% of the GDP, is tied up in our patent process.
Every year.
Every year, applying for intellectual property. That's huge. Well, we all know that the United States historically has been the gold standard for that. And we used to be first in terms of that level of economic contribution within our borders. Now we've dropped to 12th. And the reason for that is that in 2011, a lot of the Silicon Valley giants, a lot of the tech giants, really started to lobby Congress on being able to extract or take patents. Or said another way, if you're somebody that invented something, where Trey did, Bobby did, or I did, whether it's medical or a product or whatever, it was harder to protect it once you got it patented.
The classic business out of the garage.
Exactly right. So you couldn't patent it as easily, but more importantly, once you got it patented, it was easier for other people to take it. Now there's a Supreme Court decision, we want you to know, that's coming up in the next couple of weeks that concerns an administrative law type of decision that would kind of make it like it used to be.
So kind of roll back pre-2011.
It would sort of roll it back, where if we invented something, you could protect it, and the multiplier effect in the economy and whatever company it was enhancing would be better protected. That's a good thing long term.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you need to be watching the Supreme Court decision and how they go with that, because they're ruling on the constitutionality of that. A lot of people inventing things have been challenging that. And if the Supreme Court rules for the inventor, that's a lot better for the economy.
Completely understand why the large entrenched interests would not want the new mom and pop to come up.
Absolutely.
And every generation has that innovator, the disruptors that come up, and they certainly don't want to have it. Once they're entrenched, they don't want to have that new disruptor coming up behind them.
That's right. You don't want a disruptor behind you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, very interesting. So a lot going on. Please call us if you have any questions. Volatility is picking up, so we want to hear from you. We'd like to talk to you. Have a great week. Thanks.